system in it. Hello and welcome everybody to Twist Game 99. This is going to be the first part of my version of Alex's Let's Have a Look at series, where we make a video of the game we've been quite addicted to recently. This is Car Mechanic Simulator 2014, which is the first simulator I've ever owned, and it's actually quite a good one. This costs £13 on Steam, $12.99 in Great British pounds on Steam, and this is going to be also another sort of stress test for my Zoo store, seeing if it can run cracks and a quite good graphics game like this. So I've been playing around on this for a while and I know how everything works, but I'm not going to jump in at the deep end like with my old profile. This is going to be my well, let's have a log. So that's going to be the first time I'm playing on today. Going to go into Korea and let's have a look, shall we? So Car Mechanic Simulator, as you might have guessed, is a simulator for car mechanics, and it's a first-person clicky game where FPS isn't too bad, but still, anyway. Right, so FPS, well, not FPS, first-person sort of clicky game where you have superpowers. Right, it took me a while to get used to the controls, because this menu is brought up by clicking right-click, as you can see down there with the exit. Right, so we're just going to speed through this tutorial. If you want to play this game, you will learn how to play it. If you buy this game, you will learn how to play it through this tutorial. I'm not going to tell you, because you buy this game, that's what your choice. You choose to learn to play the game. I had to. You should have to too. Right. I'm thinking that the loading screens after this point, I might well edit them out. Right. Okay. So he wants us to change the brake pads on the front axle and check the condition of the brake discs on the front axle. Now, I already knew where all of this was, so we're going to go over to the computer, go to the car parts shop, go down to brake pad and buy 4 of those, because it's 2 per caliper, 1 caliper per wheel. So that's that done. Go over to the car. Now, this is a really good system for the dismantling of the car. You click on the thing to target an area, like the wheel or the engine bay or the undercarriage. Then you look at an object and click on it, and it brings up the bolts, which you hold down and click on, and it unscrews them or screws them up, depending on whether you're dismantling or reassembling. So I know how to do all this. Take off the brake calipers and take out the brake pad. Then you click right click, go to the disassemble, the switch, the button. I thought I said I wasn't going to teach you how to play this game. Stupid outfit brain. Anyway, so yeah, we're just doing all this little thing, putting it all back together. We're going to put the caliper back on, seeing as we can still see the brake disc with the brake caliper already put on. Then we're going to go to examine conditions and have a look at the brake disc. So he doesn't want us to change it or anything, he just wants us to have a check of it. So we're going to put the wheel back on and move on to the other wheel. This side is done. Yep, so we're going to go over to this wheel and do the same process over again with the holding down click with the buttons. So if you know where the cut parts are on a car, it's pretty simple to start off with, but they do stop that because after a while, even someone who doesn't know how it all goes together will know where the parts are from doing it so much. So they do make it so like someone will come in and say, my car won't start, or my car stops very suddenly, find it, fix it, and I will give you even more money than I would have if I told you. And that is, that keeps the game, well, sort of fun. I can understand why you wouldn't like it, but I do quite like it. I've been quite addicted to this game recently. So go over to our repair order invoice and click repaired, because that is repaired. Right, so we are in the next order after that small jump cut to get rid of the loading scene, and he wants us to replace his filters. So if you want a quick tutorial on where the filters are on this car for this game, it's quite simple. The oil filter is down here on core engines. It's beneath the oil filter cap. It's a bit tricky to get out until you've got the hang of it. Now the air filter's in this box, so you have to disconnect the airflow tube, the airflow meter, which just comes off like so. Then you have to take off the air filter case, air filter cover, and that will come off and dissolve. And there's your air filter, and you just take that out. Now we're going to shut the bonnet down to get to the fuel filter, which is in the undercarriage. Use the car lifter to get underneath, to go to the undercarriage, and take off the fuel filter there. Alright, while that's up, so we don't have to do it again, we might as well just apply filters in, air filter there. These are all arranged alphabetically. Just so for the net alert view, just like, oh, I can't find it, it takes too long, I can't be asked. So you go through filters, import them all. Fuel filter goes back on first. Go into assemble mode. Chuck it back on. Now, as you probably already guessed, it gets more difficult as you go on. We just go from changing brake pads to changing air filters. Well, first we have to be turning on the radio, but still. Yeah. So we later on we'll have us doing full services with there is one I know of where you have to change all of the suspension parts, and it took me ages and I spent over the budget because I forgot that there were shock absorbers on the back as well, because I confused the suspension arms for shock absorbers, and you have to take all the bits off, so you can't just like, while you can go 41,000 on an engine and just go around to the back to find the starter motor, you do have to take off all the drivetrain and starter motors to get this gearbox out to get to the clutch. So you can't just do everything you want. So that's all done. And we go on to the next order. Here we go. Here we are. So this is another this is repair order number 3. He wants us to perform a test drive. Now, I noticed that the test drive doesn't actually change no matter what happens. Apart from maybe the car won't start, you can't take it for a test drive. So if the car won't start, you can't take it for a test drive. Yeah, but it's an alright little addition. It saves it just being a little cutscene on loading the screen, and it does tell you the condition of parts of the car. So you've got the interior view, handbrake turn. You've also got an exterior view. I prefer using the interior view, but that's because I'm used to it. The cars don't seem particularly powerful if you play these sort of games where you're driving. So we click on our high show parts condition, which makes everything half used out of butter, everything like nearly new or brand new green, and everything that's worn out is red. So I know where everything is that's damaged on this. It will be the supply bar end link left, the outer tie rod on the left hand side, and the sway bar end link on the right hand side. Because these are scripted missions. Make sure you don't get anything like fans like serpentine belts that are damaged but don't actually have any effect on them. So yeah, we just take all this off. You can't repair it, so we might as well sell all the bits for tuppence. Now, this game is in US dollars, which I thought wasn't a very good sign of a good simulator, but it turns out some of the English doesn't quite fit together right, which makes me think it might be made by a German company. I wouldn't quote myself on that. I wouldn't even quote myself, but it might be made by a German company, which would be a good sign. And it's a very good simulator anyway. It doesn't matter what language it is set in. So yeah, we're going to want the outer tie rod first, which is there for 100 USD, and we want sway bar end links. So we've got end link right and end link left. Just leave that going. So yeah, we're going to need to go into reassemble mode, sling it all back together, and this is just pretty much how it goes for a while. I'm going to, once this is finished, I will play through a few missions to show you what it's like a bit later on in the game. So I'll just finish doing this a little bit first and wait for the loading screen jump cut. Swag bar back on, and the tie rod, the wheel. Now I was hoping, because I saw stuff like V8, V6 muffler parts and stuff, that one of the like end levels, or when you change your garages, or garages, however you want to say it, would be like to take a whole engine out and convert it over to V6. That doesn't happen. So anyway, we're going to go over to this one, and after this repaired button, we will go through a magical jump cut to the land of slightly more difficult levels. Yes, we do want to proceed. Right, so I've gone to halfway through, and I thought I'd tell you about, I'll show you how you have to take all the bits off. So we've got to get to the clutch in this engine, so we've got to take off the drive axles. I've already done the left hand one and the right hand wheel, because I forgot to show you this. And we go around to the back to take off the starter motor, which is here. And then after a few unbolts, after a few unboltings, after a few unboltings, the gearbox comes off and dissolves, and we have got to the clutch. So you've got the clutch release bearing, and clutch pressure plate, and inside that we've got the clutch friction plate, which I think is damaged as well. So yep. I can't repair any of this, can we? No, I don't think I can. Starter, gearbox, nope. Don't want to repair that, it's not in our job. So, just keep clicking, 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 just... Right, it's enough of that. Silly. Yeah, there's another thing I like about this game is that everyone at the beginning who gives their car to you to repair appears to be a mechanic themselves who says, my car has become really loud, my muffler's probably damaged. If you know that, why don't you just do it yourself instead of paying me $900? For the purposes of speed, I'm going to cut down this next bit into the essentials of what it is. This round to this round to click, 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 click. More clicking, just keep clicking, keep singing, keep clicking. On it's off, pods off. Holding down the clicky button because I can't be bothered to clicky clicky every time. I just want to stop and done. Right, so that is Car Mechanic Simulator 2014. I really like this game and I really recommend you buy it if you want a little clicky puzzle game, or if you want to do a little bit of car mechanic-y stuff, or if you like cars and want to learn some more of the bits. So I've definitely had my 13 quid's worth. So seeing as this is pretty much everything I can be bothered to do right now, I may as well bid you all a very good day indeed.